you starting to talk about Agent Orange
Mhm.
and plastic, the U.S. military using plastic bullets to make people feel like go crazy because there wasn't evidence of the actual the, the bullets that were happening during the war. So that's where we stopped. Do you want to
Mhm.
continue there, or do you want to start off with another question about your teenage life?
Continue with question.
So the question I think was more about you placing yourself in the Vietnam War and then you seeing the monk and self-immolation, and then starting to contextualize the war a little bit more and the struggle that you had experienced between um, your family and then your own political identity that was formulating.
So,
Do you want to continue on there? So you got a scholarship to come to the States too.
hmm
So what happened after you came to San Jose? Actually, let's backtrack a little bit more. So when you came to San Jose, did you have a host family? Where were you?
um, they were trying to get me a host family. I do have a host family. Um, at that time, I was coming from Vietnam, and I sleep on hot wood bed.
In San Jose? Oops, sorry, your
So in San
crackers.
Jose, the host family took down a door and made a plank bed for me. It was kind of odd because they have a teenager and a 10 years old boy,
Two
teen,
males.
uh, one female teenager and one young boy, and we ate together from time to time, and I stayed with them. Um, I really enjoy it. I start to know the family and the kid in the morning what they are doing. I do not know what they do in school yet because somehow I was busy and they were busy.
They were
Uh,
Vietnamese.
they are American. Um,
Was this where in San Jose was it?
somewhere in the outskirts of San Jose,
Suburbs. Okay.
a suburb. Yeah, I had to take a long bus to go to San Jose State. I stayed with them for 1 year, and and there's nothing happened. So they thought that I was doing okay. The mother is a mathematician, got an MA in math. So we did some discussion. The father is in public publishing company. Um,
Why did they sponsor you?
Somehow USAID got a sponsorship for me. I had to pay a little bit, which is nice. I cook a little bit sometime from time to time, and they don't really enjoy Vietnamese food.
Who doesn't?
At that time, I didn't cook very well. Maybe. Um,
Moro says you cook well now.
yes, she was trying to help me, my good image. Um, but so we stayed there, and then nothing happened. It wasn't impressing me a lot, living with a host family. So I moved back to the dorm. Um, it was a good experience, though. I know what they were thinking about different things about the war, about the city.
What did they think?
Um, ambiguous, ambiguous. They were, at that time, a lot of people seeing the bad effect of the war on the society, and they resist that. They resisted that, and they said that it ruined the society, something like that. The protests ruined the image of the U.S.
So they were anti-war, but they didn't agree with the protests.
I'm not sure whether they're anti-war. They don't. They say the war is not going well. Of course, it didn't go well because the Vietnamese uh, was beating the U.S. everywhere at that time. Yeah, and then it caused a lot of problem, and the the protest didn't help the war effort. The society is splitting. Um, so uh, for them, at the beginning, they don't feel like appreciative of the anti-war movement as a patriotic movement. They don't think anti-war is patriotic, which didn't, anti-war is patriotic only when Obama come into power, and it seemed to set that anti-war can be patriotic, right? But at that time, anti-war is anti-American, yes. So that is bothering a lot of people. Um, so when it helped me a little bit to see that how do you move from that position to a position where anti-war is patriotic, and you have to argue the positive point of being an anti-war person. Anti-war person is deeply concerned about, obviously at that time the economy was not that bad, and so nobody see the positive effect of it until after 75, when the U.S. economy went down, and it affected the U.S. economy. Before that time, since the Second World War, the U.S. become a superpower, and First World War and Second World War the U.S. became a superpower, and the economy was very strong because of the war economy. By the end of the Vietnam War, the first sign of the war economy did not help the U.S. economy. So people will start thinking about turning war economy into a peace economy. Um,
So you left their place. Was it on good terms?
it was on good term. We contact from time to time, and and we were very uh, um,
Cordial.
cordial.
So, what was your stance then about the war when you were
I was
living?
opposing war already,
Okay.
uh, in speech only, not yet in full action. What I did in school, I didn't report to them, but my academic standing was good, was very good, and so uh, they were happy about that. And
But that was the year that you started changing your
yes,
framework around the war, right?
yes. Um, I introduced Buddhism into the house when we ate dinner, and they asked me to read uh, um, the one something before we eat, and so I read the Vietnamese Buddhist chant.
Do you remember any of them?
Yeah, yeah. It was from the Heart Sutra, the Heart Sutra.
Can you recite something?
Yeah. Ít đế, ba la tăng ít đế, bồ đề tát bà ha.
What does that mean?
um, going beyond, going across, going across. Uh, this is how great the Bodhisattva is. Bodhisattva is a kind of a, a, um, a Buddha who attained Buddhahood but refused to attain Buddhahood until they pledge to help people of the world attain Buddhahood at the same time. And so, for example, Avalokitesvara, who came back to the world and listened to the suffering of the world, and she was trying to soothe the suffering of the world until everybody can be Buddha, and then she then attained Buddhahood.
Did that family practice any faith?
Catholic.
Okay.
It was easy because I read a lot of Bible at that time. Right? I could join them easily. Um, I read the Bible for fun, the Old Testament and the New Testament, and I went to different places. And luckily, in San Jose, there was a um, a museum of the Rosicrucian. We went there and visit and read the different version of the disciple of Christ, Jesus Christ,
Why were
who,
you
who
reading?
who were not listed in the Bible, the Testament, because he was one of the Thomas, the Thomas. Uh, he wrote about the time he was with Jesus, and it wasn't listed because he was more mystical. I remember reading it, and he said Jesus said, um, "Blessed are the people who ate the lion and become the lion, and cursed are the people who the lion ate and the lion became a man."
Why was this so important? Why did you choose to read the Bible for fun
Because
and visit these places?
because to it was part of being after we read being in the Buddhist university. Then I was interested in reading the Bible to see how um, important the Bible is to the new idea that come out at the turn of the millennium, at that time, year zero, um, and to understand uh, the the deep culture of Europe and the U.S. in relation to the Bible. I want to understand this deeper because many people were using the Bible as the source of their inspiration for culture. And at the beginning, I didn't understand a lot, so I had to read a lot about these. And then sometimes they mention the ark, and then I want to understand what the ark really mean in that conversation. And I read a novel, American novel, and I want to know, like when they mention something that related to the Bible, I would understand it very well. And also, of course, Martin Luther King, he mentioned the Bible. So that's why I was interested in the Bible.
Was it for your self interest or something more?
For my self interest before I met the nun.
What then?
Uh, in 69, 70, I forgot. Um, I was in a summer class on American literature and
In San Jose?
in San Jose, and I met a nun, and I fell in love with her. Of course, I chased her around all the time. I didn't know whether I bothered her or not, but she responded.
What do you mean she responded to you?
No, we kissed and anything like that. I went to church.
Was she Vietnamese?
No, American.
White American?
Um,
What was so? Why did you fall in love with her?
Irish American.
Irish American?
Yes. Oh yeah, I was like, I didn't know, but one day we kissed and that's it. I just remember that in the campus.
There actually was a question from someone. Do you want to know their names? I don't know if you want to know
It
their
doesn't
names.
matter. Yeah.
Um, from somebody very close to you, actually, who asked, "What do you find? What characteristics are important to you in a partner, in a romantic partner?" So it's interesting because I think your love life is something that everybody that people do want to know about. So it's interesting you brought up the nun. Did anything else happen after you kissed the nun? Did
Yes,
you
we
form a
had a
relationship?
relationship for over a year and a half. Um, um, I wasn't very, I looked like a dog when I was young, so I was just like secretly having a crush with different women, but it got nowhere because in front of them I was like didn't know what to do. I looked miserable. I was miserable. Um, and then when I met the nun, um, she was young and uh, and we sort of agree on a lot of points about American literature, and so we sat to next to each other, and I was doing okay in that class, not great. She was much better. Um, and then at that time I didn't have any formulation about what I was looking for in a partner. I was just looking for people who are in full agreement with me or something like that in a large part, um, but not politics yet. But we discussed politics. She was really sympathized with the idea of anti-war. That was really something from the Catholic, um, and she was really horrified about some of the ammunition that was happening and used in Vietnam, and she opposed the war on that part, but not in action. Um, so that was probably the beginning of it. But more and more, I was um, looking for a partner that has a deeper political view about organizing more than just not just politics, but progressive organizing. Um, after she left the church after 1 year, I came and visited her in Marysville, where she was the principal of Catholic elementary school, um, and I was meeting with her friends in the convent, and we were traveling together for quite a while
Traveling where?
around the city and then visit different places, things like that. She introduced me to the school fundraising, the time that she tried to um, give the, uh, the Catholic right to eat Sunday. So I don't know what that's called anymore. A Sunday cake. Um, so it was a good experience for me because then I know deeply how the Catholic was living, the nun was living, and the relation of the nuns to priests and all that sort of thing, and the vow. What does it mean by the vow and the iron ring that she has? Um, I know a lot more about that, and then we discussed different ceremony and habit and ritual of nuns living in convent. She took me to see where she was sleeping, sleeping quarter. see all the other nuns with the other nuns, something like that. I was introduced to that. I was really understanding more about the Catholic school, elementary school, what they are teaching. Sometimes I criticized it, slightly. She laughed, and then after 70, then she left the Catholic Church and went for go to the Philippines to volunteer for um, for the what do you call it? Kennedy created a program,
The Peace Corps?
the Peace Corps, which I didn't like. I said that's not good. You left the convent, for that. And then she went to Alaska and volunteered. And she wrote a lot of letters to me when I came to Vietnam in 1970, and we still was in in, in touch with each other.
Love
And
letters?
a love letter, yes. Uh, my mother was really scared because she received a lot of letters from me and a thick one, because we wrote like almost every day. I don't know why. I have time to write letters, long letters every
What
day.
did your relationship mean in the Catholic Church?
Um, it was attractive. The Catholic Church was attractive to me because of its organization. I could see it in Vietnam. I could see it over in the States. I could see it all over the world. So we sometimes in Buddhist university compare the type of organization that Catholic has with with uh, with uh, uh, with that type of organization that becomes very effective, while the Buddhist is not.
Why?
The Buddhist is except later on I know except for Buddhism in Vietnam, which is different. They went deep into the village. Other Buddhist church in general is not like very they are not intended to form organizations of the type that we know of and win political power. Um, they're not they're not intended to do that. Um, so later on, I think that's probably is a better way. But at that time, I was interested in organizing. So somehow, I was thinking of how they organize and was so effective.
But were you introduced to organizing in the faith-based setting, or was it San Jose anti-war movements?
I didn't know. I didn't know. I was just drawn to it because of
Okay.
and I want to know more
The
about.
concept of it is what
Yes,
attracted you.
yeah, the concept of it, but also like Sunday, um, is your confession, and you tell the priest in confidence what your problem is, you know, what kind of sin you had, which I made fun of it with a nun from time to time, but in any case, um, it was a powerful tool because then the priest know the weakness of everybody. So in that sense, it was a very powerful organizing tool because in Vietnam when I grew up, I went to sit in mass of a Catholic temple, the Catholic church, and they at the end of the mass, the priest raised some problem with some family, and that family hasn't been paying the due for this and that, and the kid was bad on this and that, and they called them by name and shame in front of everybody, and so it was like scary.
Talk about the function of stigma.
In any case, uh, uh, but probably. The Catholic Church in Vietnam in the 60s is different from is quite different from the Catholic Church in Vietnam today, and they don't kind of do that anymore. Right? Probably they would do it, but it's sometimes
Did it depend on which church and priest and father, or
probably
okay?
probably
But the one that you went to, that was your
yes
experience.
yes. Um, and that so I went to Vietnam, and after I went to Vietnam, and I went to back to the U.S. in
Can you describe the years? So you were in San
back to
Jose State.
Vietnam in for a visit in the summer in 1970, and they couldn't find me a job because I was studying Russian, and they don't nobody in Vietnam in South Vietnam dare to declare that they know Russian. So I didn't have a job in the summer. They couldn't find a job for me, so I had money to go travel in Vietnam for the first time.
So mhm.
All of Vietnam.
Was it easy to get in from U.S. to Vietnam and then around Vietnam during that time?
During that time, I was under USAID scholarship, so I was like top of the world in Vietnam. USAID is very very powerful in Vietnam at that time.
And you traveled to the north too?
Not to the north, just to uh, to Hue is the furthest. Because at that time you can't go to the north. I um I had a bicycle and then a poncho, and then I put the bicycle on a bus, and the bus carried me to every town from Saigon to Hue, and in at different towns, and I just like took my bicycle and went out to the beach or some bushes and slept under the poncho. It was really traveling. It was very moving because I could see how people work and how people live, something like that. Um, I
What
tra-
was
I
what was
traveled to the south too.
what was the most memorable? Um, what is well what ha- During your travel during that time? What was most memorable for you?
In different way because I went to uh, north of Saigon. We went through what we call Rừng Shack. Rừng Shack. It was all defoliated. You could see all the trees black and like the picture you see today. Um, they said it's Agent Orange, and we at that time I put down some money with my friend to raise chicken, for my friend in Vietnam, and we raised 100 chicken, and sometimes the Asian orange flew over, and all the chicken died, and the tree died, and they told me about that experience. Um, I went north, and I could see people in the desert area in the central part of Vietnam was living. They were like plowing in the field, and I could see how hard it was. No,
You mean
not
làm
much
ruộng á hả?
water. Yeah, not much water, so they have to beat the thing and then put water on there. Somehow they would find water. I went to Nha Trang, north of Nha Trang, to Cam Ranh and visit the Cham temple and visit different places in central part of Vietnam where they make nước mắm, um, and also north of them to Da Nang and then Hue. By the time I got to Hue, I ran out of money. I didn't know how to get back because there's no way I could contact anybody. There's no phone. Then I just remember that my one of my relative was in Hue. I came I came down from the bus, and then I went to one of the Ciclo guy, and I asked, "Do you know a family that has 9 daughters living around here?" And he said, yeah, that was the name of the family that live on that mm, in that edge of Hue. And then he took me there, and it was my relative. And from then on, they treat me very well. They pay for me to go back to Saigon. And then I came back to there with USAID arrangement, which is like red carpet everywhere. I was like, uh, I was singing the national liberation song along the way. They knew it, but they didn't do anything. At that time, it was like more obvious,
You
uh,
did it intentionally?
intentional. Yes. Um, in Hue, then uh, they treat me very well. The city was like having celebration, some sort of sort. So we went to see different camp and different places. And we went to to see how the troop was living. It's almost like we are going to be, high-ranking official in Saigon and visiting the troops. And I could see the troop hated. You know, they didn't like it.
What do you mean?
This arrogant little twat who knows nothing about the war and then trying to run around and look important.
And how could you tell they hated it?
I could see them.
What were the physical expressions?
Yeah, I could see them. I could see them. They look yucky. They had to do it, but they didn't like it. I know because my brother is in the army and he told me many times.
What were some of the things that they said? Do you know?
Uh, they call us cậu, like young, young, young boy. Um, and uh, they say if you want to do this, this is the right way to do it. They explain it slowly as if we know nothing, as if we are just like a little kid. They treat you like little kid, and we know that they didn't like it. So they didn't. The respect was up to the point where it become a little bit sarcastic. Um,
Yeah, can I stop this right here?
yeah.
Then I don't want it to the file to get so large. Okay.